Hi there. In this video I'm tackling a question I get asked all the time, which is how much it costs to operate as a sports agent. I'm not going to talk about company costs in this video, things like travel, expenses for all kinds of scouting activities and stuff like that, because those expenses obviously vary from person to person. But in this video we're going to talk about mandatory fees, the ones you've got to pay to officially register with various federations and legally operate as an agent, at least technically speaking. So after covering all the training and exam stuff in our previous videos, once you're certified, you have some annual expenses to watch for. These would be the cost for registering with the federation, then registering with CONI. Each of those registrations costs 500 euros, so that's 1,000 euros. You also need to take out a professional liability insurance policy, which has a minimum cost of 250 euros. Then there's the duty stamp of 250 euros for the CONI registration, and you need to pay that every year. Basically, if you're running this as an individual, as a freelancer, you're looking at around 1,500 euros yearly just for these fees, plus your mandatory continuing education, which, as you know, in our case, these tend to be market prices and come in around 300 euros annually. If you're not operating as a freelancer but as a company, these costs pretty much double, because you have to register with both the federation and CONI. So that 1,500 euros becomes 3,000, and your insurance also goes up a bit. So we're ballparking around 3,500. 4,000 euros. And if you're operating in Italy and want to make international transactions, from this year you also need to register through FIFA's platform, which has an annual cost of 600 euros. So if you're doing your operations diligently, seriously, say with a proper company, you're looking at a minimum of around 5,000 euros annually, but that could vary depending on your insurance premium and professional policy. What I really want to stress, though, is that these aren't even your biggest expenses. The major cost to consider, at least in Italy, is the huge expense of depositing your mandates. An agency that's active, depositing maybe 20, 30, 40 mandates a year, has a cost per mandate deposited of 250 euros. To give you an idea of what that means over a year, if you deposit 40 mandates, you're spending 10,000 euros just on mandate deposits. And that's really just for an email you're sending to the federation. This isn't the case, for example, in France, which is often our point of comparison. Over there, once you've paid your registration fees, you can deposit mandates with the federation without incurring additional fees. Anyway, this video is really about answering that common question about costs. Again, we're not talking about the business operating costs, but about the statutory fees, the ones you legally have to pay to operate,